Welcome to Destination Divergence episode 69. This is the Winds of Change group, who so recently escaped from the Plane of Madness, Zoriat, with their sanities in various states, depending on the member of the party. Faye got out pretty unscathed, but others of you had between 1 and 2 indefinite madnesses, between things like paranoia or the belief that someone was always watching over your shoulder, or that someone was always watching through your eyes, or the inability to close your eyes without seeing your past mistakes. So you immediately sought some sort of solution for that problem on your way north. You dropped off Venet in Stormreach, not Stormhome. I had to think about that one for a second. And sought a priest there who was able to, after a bit of negotiation between them and Faye, for a pretty hefty sum of, I believe it ended up being a few thousand gold in the end, right? Something like that? Like,
yeah,
platinum.
about that.
Yeah, I think so.
You were able to get some greater restorations on yourself, and everyone is now cured of their various madnesses, which is good. Those would suck to be stuck with for too much longer. And after that was done, I think there was a little bit of shopping, and then you continued north towards Valenar. Carrick has completed the seal so far, got all 3 aspects of it, and has begun to understand it. He had an epiphany last session where he began to understand many different secrets of the universe, and was able to cast a gate between Zoriat and this plane, the material plane, in order to get you all home. You've all spent some downtime on various things during the journey, but that's all Carrick has figured out about the tablets so far. He figured if you're heading back to Corvair, you might as well head back to Carrick's homeland, where he was born, Valenar. And that is where we pick up, actually. I'll bring us over to the map here, where you can see that little indicator there for the party. That's actually 3M, it should be the other one. Hold on. There you are. Boop. You are coming up from the southwest. And so you guys have already done this part of the day, but now is when you get to decide where you're actually going. And then, yes, we can return to what Carrick was saying earlier. Apologies for the interruption.
No worries at all. My bad for not realizing we hadn't started.
Yeah, that's all good.
Okay, so it's Valenar down here to the southeast of the Moorland?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Carrick will say, I'm from the port city of Palace Meridel. I'm honestly I'm excited to go back, but I'm kind of worried. I'm really kind of scared to see how much has changed, if anything has changed. Hopefully not much.
Well, how many years has it been?
Oh gosh, it's a great question.
That is a great question.
It's probably been. How long ago was the first morning?
Almost 5 years now. It was about 4
Yeah.
years when we started this campaign, but you guys have been out for a few months
So
now.
probably about 6 years.
Okay. Well, thankfully, doesn't look like any of the mornings have hit it yet. But I mean, I'm excited for you. Is there anything you're looking to get done here, or just a bit of a break after that hell we just went through?
I want to visit my mom. She's really the only family I really have down there. Do a little shopping and relax.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, I did mention this was already accounted for in the travel, so you will be getting there at like the tail end of the day, a little bit before dusk. And so I'll go ahead and put you over there. So, like you said, Carrick, it has been a few years since you've been here. And the last time you were here was during the last war, if I interpreted your date correctly. That was your intention there.
Yeah, probably. I would say like after the last war ended, he would have left home.
Okay, so the last war, that changes the order of events a little bit, because the morning happened, and then the last war happened very shortly after that.
Oh, right.
So, if you left home after the war ended, it would probably be more like 4 years.
Yeah, so probably like 4 years.
Okay, cool. So last time you were here, it was just after the war had ended, so you're already aware of some of the events that were going on in this area then. Valenar, while you were here previously, was sort of contested territory. Far before you were born, as part of the last war itself, the elves of the region sort of took the territory as their own in the chaos. It was originally Seer's land, but excuse me. But the elves and humans of Seer that lived here were in harmony for a long time, but the elves claim that long, far before humans were even a thought in anyone's minds in the lands, this was their land originally. This little chunk of Corvair, and they had settled it and fought against the goblins back when they were in power. So, during the war, when Seer's attention was focused elsewhere, they took this little chunk of land, and then once the morning happened and everyone wanted to stop all war, and Seer was no more, Valinar's main beef was with Seer, all the other nations collectively agreed to recognize Valinar as its own thing instead. So, it's no longer at war, and you're no longer under constant threat of Seer being so close by and trying to retake its land and stuff, especially being a coastal city right next to the coastal country of Seer as well. So you can see in the years since, you might have expected some things to change, but it actually hasn't changed all that much. It has only been a few years, but also as you approach by airship, you still see the bustling industry of this place, and you can still see the many structures outside of the city that stretch out and around the place, as there is still a standing army here, even years later. This place is, as Carrick mentioned earlier, a port city here, and it actually looks pretty familiar to all of you because it bears a bit of a resemblance to Stormhome. It's sort of got a large mountain that then slopes down into the sea, and at the very top of that mountain is a very large, very familiar looking architecture on this castle-like structure that's at the top of the mountain. And then, of course, the city that winds down the mountain and into the sea. Most of the city is around the sea itself, but you can tell that as you get away from the sea and up closer to the mountain and up higher into the air, sort of the wealth of those locations increases all the way up to the castle itself, the top. And I would guess, correct me if I'm wrong, Carrick, but you'd probably be somewhere in the middle regions of that, if that would make sense, based on your backstory.
Sure.
Somewhere probably on the mountain close to the jungle or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I just remember like my mother was like a prominent figure.
Exactly. So I was thinking somewhere up there, but not quite the castle itself. And the castle itself, you would know, Carrick would know at least, is a Lyrandar enclave. Excuse me. Valinar was not originally it was not like originally Lyrandar's home or anything like that. It was just a home of many elves in this place, and so Lyrandar sort of naturally made alliances with Valinar and naturally formed many different places here. Lyrandar has a lot of ties to Valinar. So their headquarters is still up in Stormhome, of course, but Phyllis Mirandal was true. That's a fair point. This port city is still very important to them just because of its prominent location and its strength. It's a very old city that has a lot of history to it. So, yep, you can also see lots of different airship docks everywhere. It's not just a port city for aquatic ships, but also airships. And several of these look pretty new to you, Carrick. You don't recognize a lot of them, but it looks like this place has been upgraded quite a bit, mostly in its capacity for aerial vehicles.
As Carrick kind of just pulls into sight of the city, he just takes like a big, deep breath of fresh air, and he's just like, "It's good to be back. Glad to see nothing's changed. Well, a little bit, but not much." And he'll pull them in and find a place for them to dock.
All right. As you pull in closer to the city, several ships, much smaller than your own, leave their ports and fly up to intercept you. Alongside them, you can also see several large winged creatures and a bunch of other small dots that you can't quite make out from here just yet, unless you have a feature that you can see things at a long distance that you want to bring up.
Seeing this happen, Faye's at least going to just go to Carrick's side to be ready to help with diplomacy.
Thank you.
Just back up.
All right. Shortly after the small ships disengage. Yes? Sorry.
Sorry, I was saying I'd move up with Carrick too. I'd establish a mental link to Faye or Carrick, either one. Or Faye.
Okay. Sounds good. So as those smaller ships sort of very quickly disperse and begin to rise up to meet you, one much larger ship, about the size of your own, much more slowly makes its way up as well. And they, are you trying to avoid them or just trying to meet with them?
Carrick will meet with them. He'll parlay.
Okay. So you make it clear by the way you're moving that mean them no harm. You basically just stop and let them surround you. The very large ship brings itself up directly facing you, directly ahead of you. Just sort of hovers there, while all of the other smaller ships disperse around you, surrounding you on all sides, even above and below you. And the winged creatures you saw before are revealed, now that you're a little closer, you can see them more clearly, to be griffins bearing armor, sort of barding that they're covered in, sort of silvers and greens. And on the backs of each one is an elven warrior wearing similarly adorned armor, and some elves that are just flying alongside these creatures. Just soldiers in very light, agile-looking armor, bearing spears and such. One of these griffins floats down with several other of these elven warriors down onto the deck of your ship. And one of these elven warriors is much more adorned than the others, wearing armor that has a lot more silver on it than green. As they get closer, you can see that all of the metals of their armors have been shaped into almost like much more natural shapes than you've seen in armor of other places. They're shaped like leaves and woven in strange shapes like metal, or not like metal, like leather and such, trying to keep it from looking like metal. But you can tell that it is very high quality armor that offers a lot more protection than more natural armor.
Interesting.
All of the warriors have a mask that covers most of their face, that kind of built into a helmet, that the sides of the helmet kind of streak back like the wings of the griffins that they were riding in on. And the face is shaped almost like a beak.
Carrick will walk up to meet the most important looking one.
Right. Most important looking one, in the more silvery armor than the others.
He'll shout over in Elvish as he's walking over, "Hail! How can I help you?
Hail. We were not expecting a Lurandar airship here today. What is your business here?
Apologies, this is a personal vessel of mine. I'm actually a former soldier, and I'll tell him my squad that I was a part of, and I'll say, and I'm the daughter of Kolena Fandris. I was hoping to dock and come home for a while.
Kalana, you say? Kind of holds a hand up to his ear and begins to mutter something under his breath that none of you can hear. I'll have that squad looked into real quick. Just pardon me while we check on that information. A personal vessel, you say, though. We recognize this as a Lurandar ship, clearly. Normally, they contact us about all of the comings and goings of their ships, so we know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm not directly affiliated with the guild, but I am part of the. I am a marked one.
I see. He puts his hand up to his ear again and says something. Turns back to you. We've got someone on the way to verify what you say. You can all see that the soldiers on the deck are kind of just watching all of you, unsure of what actions you'll be taking, making sure that nobody makes any weird movements, and some of them are facing away from you all onto other doors of the ships to make sure that nobody is coming up from behind and such. They're being pretty careful here.
Carrick is trying to act very casual and not worried at all to try and put them at ease.
All right.
When he said his mother's name, what did they seem like, concerned or just surprised?
Give me an insight check. I'll say this will be a difficult one because you can't see their face, you can only hear their voice, and they're being pretty still.
Can I check that as well?
Sure. There's not many tells to go off of here, but it's up to the voice, so
Bad roll.
Let's see what farts.
I'll say, I mean, it definitely sounded like recognition. You don't really draw more than that out of it.
Then I guess I'll
Didn't sound like he was just repeating the name Kalena. It's a name he's heard of before.
I'll shift my connection over to Carrick and be like, so your mother's a rather important person?
Indeed, she's a powerful wizard in these parts.
Ah. Good to know.
As you guys are waiting there, it doesn't take long at all after this guy says that somebody is on their way to verify. And then from up the side of the ship, another figure clad in more silvery armor than the others around, but not with another squad. It's by themselves, just floats up, not on the back of a griffin, but just flying by their own magic. Lands on the deck. A female figure. She reaches up and pulls off her helmet and runs over to give Carrick a hug.
Oh, it's Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, I did not expect you. It's been years.
I know. I didn't really have a way to contact you.
As expected. I just, this is such a pleasant surprise. I don't know what to say. You must tell me about all of your journeys, of course. And she looks back at the other sort of more established figure situations. She says, Island, they're fine. They are who they say they are. I can vouch for them. And the man, now named Island, nods. Very well. You may dock at... and he indicates one of the docking structures, the airship ports. We have free space there for you. Normally that would be for other Lurandar vessels, so it should be easily compatible with what you've got. we'll work with them to figure out. I don't think they have any other vessels coming this way anytime soon. It's strange times these days.
Much appreciated.
So he says something into his like earpiece again, magical earpiece, and all of the griffins and elves fly away, and the ships slowly sink back down into the city. You must understand they're very careful these days. They restrict the airspace quite tightly, and we never know when somebody's gonna spark the war again. I'm sure you understand.
They've always been quite paranoid.
Yes.
Yes, I would hope we understand. We were in Stormhome.
You must introduce me to your friends, but also Stormhome, you say? She looks back at you, Carrick.
Yeah, it's a long story.
Sure
but
that is.
First, this is Faye, Nikareth, and Clemens, and Anka here.
Hello.
Pleasure.
Anka will give a little bow, then stick behind Faye. Oh, and I am Kalena, Carrick's mother, of course. Normally,
Pleased to meet you.
have people call me Captain, but of course, to friends of Carrick, you may call me by name.
I shake your hand and say, "It's a pleasure, Captain." And I just give her a smile. You have a wonderful son.
I'd certainly hope so. See, you've made some good friends.
Indeed, I have. They've saved my life on many occasions.
Oh, and I'm sure you've saved yours as well. She looks at the rest of you.
Nod
Oh,
enthusiasm.
yes.
Yes, it's very hard to keep track of who is saved who at this point, so I don't know. I've
I
stopped keeping
mean-
track. I'm sure people will remind me if I'm letting my deficit run a little high.
You definitely have the latest tally in your column, since, we'd still be stuck on the plane of madness.
Oh yes, I've been trying to forget about that, but thank you for reminding me. This is the only time in my life, I think, where I would prefer to forget something that I did that was incredibly cool.
We will have to talk about that later. I'm sure you have many stories to tell.
Excuse me while I spill all of your stories to both of your parents.
First, let's go home.
Yes.
Is there enough room at the house for everybody?
Well, not at the moment, unfortunately. But well, I'll explain the situation. You should be able to find plenty of space in town. There are not many travelers these days. If necessary, I can pay for your lodging, of course, since my own hospitality can't cover it.
Oh, no. I was just curious. I'm totally fine. We can get a tavern in town. Thank you, though. But what's going on in Palace Maridal right now?
Well, it's troubled times, rather. It's sure you've heard the news. I mean, you were in Stormhome just recently, yes? Sometime in the last few years, at least. That's now under shadowy mists, and several other places in the world are as well. People aren't traveling as much, and well, we're unsure of the current state of things. So they're getting ready for a war again. Everybody sort of stopped the war previously, thinking that if we continued the war, more mornings would happen, but now they're happening anyways, so what's stopping them?
I see. We were actually there right after the morning happened, Stormhome, or the second morning, rather.
How did it fare? We haven't heard any news from there.
Not well.
I see.
we evacuated as many citizens of the city as we could, but the rest have turned into sickly undead creatures.
That is absolutely troubling. Yes. Let's get you home, and then we can discuss this more. I can at least have you all as guests for now. I just don't have a place for you to stay. I apologize.
Of course, yeah. Let's rest for a bit.
All right. So she'll just stay with you on your ship while you bring that down to dock.
Lovely.
And some House Lorandar people are working this dock, and they seem quite puzzled at this ship that they clearly didn't expect today. But none of them mention it. Though they all just have these very like, I'm watching you, like suspicious looks on all of their faces. But they clearly have orders not to do anything. So.
Karen just smiles at them and walks by.
Excellent. So, Kalena leads you back to her house, which, as I mentioned before, is slightly up higher in the city, where things are a bit nicer. You guys have to go through the docks to get there, and through the markets and all that are sort of more central to the town. And as you walk, you all do notice that this place is, as Kalena said, fairly I can't think of a single adjective to describe it, but you're used to seeing, various people walking around different places of markets and such with potentially something to protect themselves, but like everyone here seems to be wearing armor and bearing a weapon or two, and not just like a knife to protect themselves or a wand or something, but like full-on weapons of war, like heavy swords and so on. It seems that everyone in this town is just, I mean, this town is very, very, everybody here is very openly carrying, but in fantasy terms. They all very much care about their weapons.
Clemens says, I am in a pirate. Port senses are going off because of all the open carry, but she's aware that's probably not the case, so she's very confused.
Carrick will look and see Clemence's confusion and say, we are a warrior culture here, so it's very typical for everyone to wear their
what do you have to
their weapons.
Fight on a day-to-day basis?
For the past 100 years or so, the people in Seer, but lately, this is the first time in a long time that we haven't been at war.
Oh well, I suppose some peace is nice once in a while.
Indeed.
We've been, we have been poking and prodding at Karnath for a while now. That was a more recent event. Our king has seen it as wise to give our people something to fight. We've fought for so long, and our whole history has been fighting, that I think a lot of people don't know what to do with a time of peace. So we mostly fight each other these days. Tournaments, training, so on. And it's a point of pride as well. We've seen without a weapon here, and, it probably won't respect you as much.
I mean, I'm certainly down with that. It's just surprising. Most people take umbrage to you carrying around a perfectly good sword in the middle of a city.
Well, not here. We value we put a lot of trust in the citizens of this town, and there's not many of us that aren't trained for war if need be. So if anything shady were to happen, plenty of people to step in at any given time.
Oh, I see.
Anyways, my house is up this way. She'll continue leading you along, and you do eventually get up to the higher society houses up here. They're not very large, so to speak, and except until you get up even farther up the mountain where there's more mansions and such. But it's a perfectly good house, and I mean it's definitely distinguished, bearing Kulana's role in the military here, which is of incredible importance to this culture. So she, of course, is considered very high society just by the profession she has and the title she holds. Now, to be honest, I haven't been entirely honest with you here, but I think it'll be a pleasant surprise.
Oh?
Yes, indeed. Oh, it'll be a pleasant surprise for multiple people involved here. And she'll walk up to the door of the building and lead you all inside. And it's pretty nice. It's pretty well kept. There are weapons displayed everywhere in here, though, which is
Nice.
like the primary form of decoration appears to be either plant-based or weapons. There's lots of like, very druidic, magically imposed like plants over like doorways and things like that. And everything is made out of like stone with like plants and like vines hanging off of them and stuff, and then of course just like battle axes and swords and spears and all of that, suits of armor against the wall and so on and so forth. And inside this building, see a familiar blue dragonborn.
No shit. How are you doing, old friend? And Carrick will run over and give him a hug.
oh god. He'll kind of clasp the not metal arm around you and give you a big hug as well. Oh, it has been a few months now, yes?
Indeed. How have you been, Balazar?
Oh, well, I've been. I can't say it's been pleasant having lived through two of these events now, but lived I have.
What
I
are you
met this
doing
person?
here?
Clemens is not actually. This was a NPC from Carrick's backstory. You guys met in Passage, so Clemens wasn't there quite yet.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's right. It was Passage.
Yep.
So long.
Well, I was in Passage waiting for more information, trying to find anything out I could while I was there when it happened, the big event. But fortunately, I've already lived through one of them. I'm a survivor. You can see now that you're getting a closer look at him, Carrick. Even more of this poor Dragonborn's body has been replaced with robotic parts at this point. And I forgot to mention that for Clemens' sake as well. This guy is like mostly brass all over the place. He's got like part of his face has been replaced by like
nice.
brass plates and like a brass arm, and part
That's
of his
really
chest that he wears like a pretty open robe, and part of his chest is just like a large brass machine that's just pumping slightly. I had to do a few more upgrades here and there, but got the job done. And well, unfortunately, I am too weak to do much adventuring these days. Sort of. Well, I came here. I knew you were from here, and your mother very kindly took me in, and I help out around the house. And she takes care of me, of course, and I keep this place clean, tidy, and keep everything in good repair. It's a good retirement.
That's great. I'm so happy to see you. I was
And
not
are you?
expecting-
Yes, I figured you'd make your way here eventually. As long as this place didn't get covered in mist as well, fingers crossed. That one.
Well, we definitely have some stories to tell you for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
A lot has happened since Passage.
I bet. Yes, there's been a few months. You can fit a lot in that time. I'm sure your mother's very interested as well, and yeah, she's been watching this reunion from the sidelines. So she's yes, of course. Let me go just put on some tea. You'll drink tea, yes?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, thank you kindly.
Heads to the back and begins brewing some tea for you all, and then you can sit and have a chat. Where you can tell your stories to these folks from the past. And we can roleplay as much of that as you want, or we can yada yada it. That's up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm fine with yada yadaing it if unless they have like specific things to say about like us going to the plane of madness or like us
Mhm. Yeah,
dealing
the
with
plane
certain-
of madness is definitely especially surprising to the Balasar as well, the Dragonborn. Because I mean, he just your mother is a very accomplished wizard, Kalana is, but she's been so much more focused on combat with it, whereas Balasar has sort of pursued the science of magic very directly as your artificer mentor previously. So as you describe like the planar travel and some of the little bits of knowledge that you're able to even put into human language that you've uncovered, it just blows his mind entirely. And so that's all very fun. But there is one other thing that Kalana does bring up once you mention, or later on after you've told a bunch of your stories, and you mention Stormhome as well. So, you were all at Stormhome then? Shortly after it happened, I heard, yes?
That's right.
Yes, it was a very sticky situation.
But you were able to get in and out of there safely, it sounds like. I mean, you're here, obviously.
Yes, we are alive, but I don't recall it being an easy process. There was we had a bit of passage through a bank of very uncomfortable energy that I believe that perhaps changed our what would you call the not your physiology, the metaphysical equivalent of it. Would soul even be the right word? It changed something fundamental about us when we passed through it. But as you said, we're not dead yet.
Carrick will pull out the iron lungs and say, "These seem to help."
Yes, I've been lived through twice of them. Now I can agree. It does seem to target what you say. There's some element of the flesh, the body that is more metaphysical that these things try to interfere with. And well, metal doesn't seem to have that weakness, thankfully, and I've been okay with a bit of tinkering on myself. Not easy, of course, but do what you gotta do to live. That's good though. Yes, lungs make sense. It is airborne mist. I'm sure any other similar items could probably come in handy. But Quilana speaks up as well. Well, regardless of how you got in there, there's been a bit of drama with Thorandar recently, in recent months. Ever since that happened, they've all been, well, pretty chaotic. It's, I wonder if you'd heard of any of that, or how much I need to update you on that.
I honestly have no clue.
I see. Well. Well, you did say you were in Zendrick for a few months. That would make sense. If you headed directly there from Stormhome. Yes, of course. So, they're no longer able to contact the matriarch, Esravesh. And, well, there's a bit of a stir in the politics of Lorendar as they are unsure whether or not they should choose a new leader. She has been missing for months now, of course, but she was one of the most talented and powerful matriarchs we've had in a long time, so we assumed that, well, there's many of us that assume she's still out there, still alive, but her last known location was Stormhome. So, confirmation of if she is alive or dead would go a long way in that process, of course, and, well, any of her things that you might have come across, or anything of that nature, of course. And if she is dead, then, well, it sounds like House Lorendar needs a new leader. So that'll be a whole process, I'm sure, but I'm sure they would greatly appreciate any information you could offer them. I just know that's a big point of drama recently.
Carrick's gonna think back to when he was evacuating people, when he was like searching throughout the whole city. Just does anything remind him of that name?
Yeah, so you'd be pretty aware of who Esravesh Dilarandar is. She was probably, yeah, no, she definitely would have been, she would have taken power or become the matriarch of House Lorandar while you were alive, during your lifetime. She was very young, and she was the youngest matriarch to take power. But she was extremely talented and extremely capable. Many people even believed that she was possibly a reincarnation of like the original dragon marked elf Liran. So they that's the only way they could explain just how talented she was. But she has a massive dragon mark covering like all of her face, pretty much like all of one side of her face, like her cheek, down her neck, and so on. And because she is, such a prominent figure, of course, you would recognize her immediately. So you're pretty sure you didn't see her.
Yeah, I don't think we met her while we were there.
That's unfortunate. Do you think she might have fled then, or something else? I feel like if she fled, well, I guess I didn't know her very well.
I didn't either. Or something else is definitely a possibility in there.
Let's see. Well, might be good for you to speak with House Lorandar about all that. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it. I prefer to avoid dealing with them, as I'm sure you understand, but with the, well, with just how successful your journeys have been, I'm sure that's something too important for me to not bring up. This could be important for one of the greatest dragon marked houses, whether I like them or not. Destabilizing them now would not be good for Valenar. So helping them is helping Valenar.
Speaking of them, I met my father.
Oh. Yeah, an old fool, isn't he?
To say the least. I had to save his ass from getting killed so many times.
Yes, he was.
It
Well,
was actually kind of impressive. I'm not entirely sure how you survived this long.
I'm
well,
not sure either.
he's always had the sea in his blood. His family comes from this region a long time. He was quite charming when he was younger, and unfortunately, he never could quite get the sea out of his head. Not even when more important things were on the line. But that's the fate of many people of this city. Well, we were a pirate town before the war, so that culture runs deep, deeper even than our warring culture here. But anyways, regardless of how it went, I'm glad you got to meet him again now that you're your own man.
Indeed. Carrick will look outside and see that it's gotten very late after
Yes.
all their stories.
Extremely.
we should probably go kick it at a tavern tonight. Don't you say? And he starts looking at the rest of his party.
You got it.
If you wish.
Well, I did say that I don't have room for all of you here, but Carrick, I've never touched your room except to clean it, so that's still there for you.
Thank you. You know what? I'll actually stay with my party.
All right.
I'd like to show them around the town a little bit.
Of course. You know where to find us.
Of course. Yeah, we'll be back.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. This tea was wonderful. You have a beautiful place.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the city, and it was nice to meet all of you, and I'm glad that Carrick has found such stalwart friends.
I'm sure he'll find another night to stay with you.
Of course.
Well, I think we might be around for a while. I don't know.
Yeah, if you all don't mind, I don't mind staying here for like a week or so.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any more terribly more pressing to be, right?
I think we just need to wait.
Then why not? We'll have a lovely time here, I'm sure.
Indeed.
There's some great beaches.
It sounds like after your travels, you definitely deserve a bit of a rest.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So, would you be giving the party a bit of a tour of the city before finding a tavern, or are you heading to a tavern for the evening and then that's tomorrow's activity?
Yeah, we'll go to a tavern. He'll pick out his favorite tavern, and then they'll all stay there, and then he'll give him a little tour tomorrow.
All right. So, there would be Gold Dragon Inns here. Would that be one of your favorites, or would there be something like local that, or not a chain that's in the area, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, something local.
Okay. So, what would Carrick's favorite tavern be like? Something local, something not as something that would have to be a little different than a Gold Dragon, and maybe something run by a druid of the area.
That would sound amazing.
All right, so, yes, Carrick's favorite tavern. There's a very old elven druid who runs this place, and it's a little small. But the building is, unlike many of the other buildings in this area. There's lots of stone architecture in this place, despite being so close to a very lush forest, and despite there still being a lot of plant life around here. These people do very much value the plants in the region. There's a lot of there's as many druids here as there are wizards. Magic runs deep in this country, but it's very, very evenly paired, the natural magic and the arcane magic. This structure itself is an entirely wooden structure. There's not a stone in sight. It's just got polished wood floors. You know, there's a nice not a nice campfire. No, a nice fireplace going. I guess that would have stones, but either way. And the entire roof of the place is just made of like tree leaves instead of it's sort of like the entire structure was built out of trees, and then wooden planks were nailed in places to make a tree house that's sort of on the ground instead of risen up over.
How quaint.
And all of the rooms of the place you can see up into the sky and see the stars through the roof.
Have any of y'all been to a rainforest cafe?
No.
That's what I imagine this being.
Yeah.
I have not, no.
It's like a
I've only ever
restaurant
heard
where
of it.
you're like it's made to make it look like you're in a jungle.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I googled it. I could see exactly. Yeah. That is kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm
That'll work.
picturing just the most immaculate vibe here. This is Faye's, especially given her background. This is my specific shit. She is having an awesome time.
Yep. Perfect. All right.
I'm sure Nikarth is admiring the balance.
God, it's been years. Hasn't changed a bit. I love it in here.
And this is next level. And didn't think we were gonna be getting such good shit.
Now, tell me, what is a druid bartender's specialty? Please tell me it involves magic mushrooms.
Oh, of course. Yes. Magic mushrooms is where my brain went immediately as well. So the place, coming up with a name off the top of my head, is run by Phelan, the old elven druid, and it's Phelan's Canopy is the name of the place. And yes, indeed, there are. Well, a lot of this place is, very well kept. It's sort of a weird mix of the very polished floors, but the the very rough walls and roof, and like the furniture is also very well kept. But then like the bar itself is very well kept and smooth, but like the structure that holds the bar up looks like it's just made of tree bark and like stuff like that. The signs over the bar that list the menus are very like rough, like driftwood they look like, and it's kind of carved in the menu onto the driftwood. What can I get for you? There's we got drink, we got food, we got rooms, and
We'll just have some rooms for tonight and a special for my friend here, and he'll pat Nikar's shoulder.
of course, and well, it's been many years, Carrick, but for a friend of you, specials on the house.
Oh, why, thank you.
Oh, yes, we all get specials.
Specials
Enjoy,
for
everybody.
everyone. Yes, and we'll turn around and walk through a doorway that just has like vines hanging down over it. And he kind of just parts the vines to walk through it and disappears behind them. And very soon afterwards comes back with a bunch of a bunch of mugs that are just sort of carved out of pieces of, like, it looks like pieces of driftwood again. And each one just has this large, like, red and purple mushroom sort of split and sitting on the rim of the mug, and it's a kind of a bubbling green mixture in the mug.
Interesting.
Enjoy.
Oh, I will. Everything about this, I'm in heaven, sir. You've done a good thing here.
Well, I hope this works. And Nikarth chugs it.
Yep, it's con saves versus poison for everyone, but not that kind of poison.
They had
I
your
guess Nikarth
mug up
will
to
just-
cheers Nikarth as he did that. It's like, oh, fuck you.
No, sorry. I'll cheers him with the empty mug. Then look at it a little disappointed.
No,
Well, it was delicious.
I willingly fail.
Yes, you can willingly fail. I'll allow it.
Can Clemens use her arcane deflection?
I will also allow that if you can describe
Thank
it.
So she is constantly surrounded by a swirling maelstrom of arcane energy, which she channels into her spells. She does a very specific thing when she drinks, where she inhales the magic through her nose while she is drinking the liquid down, and she kind of carbonates it in her throat as it's going down with arcane essence that is aligned to her, so that her body is just that much more easily able to metabolize it. She really likes winning drinking competitions. She's not usually amazing at it.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, so you would easily be fine. So
I redact my failure. Yeah, no, I'm gonna. I might just go for another one after this.
So it looks like pretty much everyone would just be fine. So you all look at each other like, yeah, that was good. That was pretty good. And the Phelan behind the bar sort of chuckles and says, I should have expected this of friends of Carrick. And he without another word, he just walks back into the kitchen again, and then just brings out a whole pitcher and sets it on the table.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there we go.
We're gonna be sleeping well tonight.
Con saves at disadvantage for everybody.
There we go.
In the car, you are still immune. Rip.
Oh no.
It's unstoppable.
Yes, Faye definitely outdrinks everyone but Nakareth, who Nakareth just seems completely. I mean, unless you want to act it out, Nakareth, but like.
No, he just looks vaguely sad and disappointed.
Aw, unfortunate.
Actually, like, as the night gets a little longer and it's clearly not doing anything, he'll be like, "So, do you have anything stronger for those of us who might be immune?"
Oh my,
I don't know
immune.
about you, but I'm feeling pretty immune. I could really use something stronger.
You're real immune right now.
Karth, maybe you have to like meditate your ki to like get drunk.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, do that.
Hey, look at me.
Yes.
I'm still hanging in there. You've been with me before. We've drank before. Look, you gotta get on my level. Why aren't you on my level? That's your problem.
Yeah, why are you on our level?
You think I haven't been trying?
How was that attitude?
Sorry, I wasn't aware. You a druid, very old, very well, this kind of stuff doesn't work on you, yeah?
Not a druid. I am a monk. I've studied ki and the higher self.
I see. Well, I've not heard of anyone doing that, but well, it sounds similar. Your body just rejects it, yeah? Just honed it too well, a little too much
Yes,
primal magic.
more or less. Please, God, I haven't been shit-faced in so long, and I need it.
This is when to invoke the Lord.
He winks and says, "We got something for the druids around here. Just don't you worry." Turns around, heads back into the kitchen. Comes back out with a little like a seashell that looks very old and very worn by the tide that's been running over it for a long time. It's almost glassy, and he says, "This, you're lucky. I just got a few of these extra. I unfortunately can't give you this one for free like the drinks, but these are a little more rare, a little harder to come by.
Understandable.
But I don't know how much money you carry and what kind of wealth you got, but we usually charge 10 gold for these."
Oh, where's the bag? I'm gonna reach over it and pluck the.
Carrick just plop 10 gold on the table.
Yeah. Faye heard 10 gold and started chuckling audibly.
All right.
Give him an extra 10.
Oh.
Plops another 10.
Thank you.
Their generosity is most appreciated, of course.
I mean, sharing your secret stock.
Carrick's
Most appreciated.
shit-faced and just heard 10 gold, heard another 10 gold, and just did it.
Excellent. Okay. So he hands you this seashell. He says, "This here contains some suppressing magic. You hold this on your person, and you give it a good squeeze. Should suppress that part of your body that, well, it sort of distracts that part of your body for a while. As long as you're really, really gripping it, your body will try to fight to get rid of this thing. It's got a lot of deep sea magic in it, and well, while your body's fighting, too distracted to worry about the alcohol or whatever
Fair
else
enough.
you might be your business."
All right.
I know that game. Usually we just punch each other. I don't think it would do much to him either, though. Probably less than the drink. I've seen a lot of people punch him, and it doesn't seem to hurt him very much.
Oh no, it hurts. I just punch harder.
Oh, that's really cool.
Well, good
Honored.
luck. I hope that works for our druids. It works for me, so I hope that one works for you as well. You're lucky I had an
All right.
extra.
Thank you, my good sir.
Of course.
Now
Is this a
one
one-night
more.
thing or
This is a what?
reusable?
What thing? Sorry.
A one-use thing or reusable?
Oh no, it's reusable.
Oh shit! You just re-enabled the alcohol.
Oh no.
Time to go on a bender.
Oh boy.
This is why I took you to Phelan.
He gives Carrick a little salute. Of course.
Carrick, you wonderful son of a bitch. As I'll hold on to the shell and pick up the nearest mug of or pitcher of alcohol and start chugging.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you don't even have the capability to resist it at all. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's just,
I'll fail those.
just immediately into your system, and you catch up to the others very quickly.
I feel like home. As he
That's
just settles
my
into
boy.
his chair.
And slap him in the back.
Me too, buddy.
You just the smilest you've seen him in a long time, and just bouncing in his chair. Thank you, sir.
Me couldn't be me just now remembering that Anka would be with you guys too. Anka, despite being very large and very strong, is like passed out under the table already. Like as soon as the drinks came out, she is down. She's kind of like sleeping, like hugging her sword.
Oh, poor Anka.
I'm
just
just
snoring
passively
gently.
taking like bar snacks and just like putting my hand under the table and like putting it near her mouth, but she's probably passed out, so I just drop them.
Yeah. Occasionally they'll get down near her face and she's snoring. They'll just like her breath will like push it away from her, and then they're just forming a little bit of a pile as one by one the snacks just land over there.
Anka's channeling that sleepy boy energy.
Yes. Exactly. Classic.
Oh fuck. But then I'm just gonna look at Nikarath because I still have not gone under, and I'm just gonna be like, all right, we're even now. One more. I'm just gonna grab one of the mugs.
Okay. I'll just slowly reach over and grab
Opposed con saves? I love when you can declare opposed con saves or opposed saves in general. That diamond soul is still gonna hit you there.
It's the perfect way to end.
it. Mikara sitting there bouncing, happily sipping his drink. As I'm assuming Faye just slipped off the.
Yeah. Faye is now just curled in the like just same position as Anka.
Perfect. You folks stay in the night tonight.
Yep.
This is where we ended up.
All right. Very well. I'll don't worry about the money for now. We'll deal with it in the morning after you've got some sleep. Fortunately, not many travelers up here. You guys got the pick of whatever rooms you want, so feel free to just take whichever bed suits you.
Clem's is going to find a bed and sleep.
All right. So yeah, as I mentioned before, it's all they're actually hammocks here.
Perfect.
Some of them are much larger than others, of course, but yes, they all are various hammocks, and of course, all strategically placed so that there's little parts in the canopy above so that you can see some of the stars.
Nikara's gonna climb in a nice, comfy hammock, and like have just his face peeking out while he's just surrounded and nice and warm as he looks up at the stars.
Why is my face?
It's precious.
Yeah, Kark is gonna get some of the best sleep he's had in years.
All right. So, you guys will get a long rest. I feel like you haven't really expended any resources since the last throne anyways, but if you need it, you can hit it. And yeah, you wake up the next morning all extremely hungover.
Lovely.
Oh, God.
Is it weird to say I missed this?
Yes.
Yes,
It
I
is.
think it is, yes.
Yeah, Anka sits up and also says yes. Yes, it is. Yeah,
So,
God.
as a wise woman once told me, if it was fun, everyone would be doing it. I still don't know what she meant, but I agree.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's just, kind of a reminder that I'm still mortal.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, what's for breakfast, Phelan?
Anka goes back to sleep and also just before you head down, Anka goes back to sleep and also mutters, I don't need reminders that I'm mortal. None. She's out. Breakfast. Uh, hmm. Phelan has cooked sort of a like a sweet bread. Not quite like a cranberry bread, but it's like made with good berries. That kind of
Goodness,
deal. He
that's
is
a
a
lot of
druid,
calories.
so yeah. Well, they're kind of distributed. He's kind of chopped them up pretty finely and distributed them throughout the bread.
Perfect.
But yes, that kind of thing. Sure.
Phelan, this is delicious, and truly you've done a beautiful job with this whole place here, but this ain't my first rodeo. I know how to take care of this hangover. You got some greasy beefs back there? Some naughty meats?
I,
Please.
I don't think this is the kind of place for that in any sense of that.
Yeah, I do apologize. That's not quite
you
what we
can't
have on the
just
menu
go-
here, but
Asking people that when you're hungover, goodness, it'd be a different thing if. Please pass the bread.
There's no time for jokes, comments.
Asking people what? I'm sorry. I got called away for a second.
Lawrence doesn't even know.
I was asking for greasy beefs and naughty meats.
I'm sorry, we don't serve any meat here, but I'm sure. Just keep eating the bread. I'm sure you'll be surprised.
I respect your decision. I'm gonna drink a bunch of water and eat a bunch of bread.
Okay, there you go. And you guys do feel that like there's definitely something about this bread. It's not entirely mundane. It was baked by a druid after all. And yes, as you eat, get some
Druids
food
are
into your
specialists
bodies.
at getting baked.
Yes, exactly.
I'll take a mushroom steak.
There you go. That's something you can offer, sure. But yes, the bread has been especially created to help with the hangover, so very thoughtful of Phelan. And one of the things he always offers here. One of the classic dishes that Carrick used to get here as well. That's the other special they offer here, the morning special.
God, I love the good bread here.
It's an old recipe. Almost as old as I am. That's pretty old.
Is it your recipe?
Well, I did say it's almost as old as I am. All my recipes here are my own recipes. I've iterated on them over the years, of course, but most of them have their roots back when I was about your age when I started this place. That had to be, oh boy. Well, it was before the war. Could have fit a few wars in there. I've lost count. A few hundred years. Yeah, easily.
Goodness, that's an old recipe.
Yeah, like I said, an old recipe. Well, almost as old as me, and I'm pretty old.
Well, you've both aged wonderfully.
Thank you kindly. Can I get you folk anything else?
I don't.
Do you
I
have
don't
any?
think so.
Do you have anything for the road? I imagine we're going to do a lot of walking around today. I have heard of these things called churros. I don't know what they're about. Perhaps you could fill me in.
I've not heard of those. No, could you describe it to me? I could try to make it.
I'm afraid I can't. That's I was hoping you would know.
Unfortunate. Well, if it's food for the road you're looking for, I've can make you a bit of a mix. We call it a mix for the trail. You know, it's sort of a bunch of nuts and berries and things, and sort of just snack on it when you feel like it.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Thank you.
Of course, that's another old recipe.
Oh, really? Do you have recipes for trail mix? I guess I'd never thought of it before.
Well, no, this is mix for the trail. It's much more specific.
I see. On my ship, we just shoved everything in a barrel and you just kind of stuck your hand in when you were hungry.
That's another old recipe. That one's about as old as the pirate culture here.
Lovely. And here I thought we invented it. I suppose that's probably goes for a lot of very old recipes, right?
I'm sure some pirate did somewhere. It's a very piratey recipe. But anyways, so settling the bill for not counting what I said was on the house, of course. That'll be 10 gold and then an additional 5 silver for the snacks for the road.
Clemens is gonna slap it on the table.
Thank you kindly. You all new to the city? I know Carrick's not, of course, but
Well, yes,
you're all new faces.
I've been here before.
Well, enjoy Palace Meridal. It's I've seen it change a lot over time, but well, it's always been beautiful.
Fantastic. It seemed beautiful.
You should see the temples while you're here. Those are some of the largest and most beautiful buildings, in my opinion.
Oh yes, let's check those out.
Y'all have a good day.
You too.
You
My
too.
pleasure.
Well, all right, Carrick. So, you giving the group a tour now, or do you guys have other business? What you doing?
Yeah, let's go on a little tour. He'll show him around, show him the temples.
All right. So this place does have, as I mentioned before, pretty bustling market. It actually reminds you a lot of Stormreach, especially as you get closer to the port. It's kind of interesting. This town feels like if you took half of Stormreach and half of Stormhome and kind of just mushed them together, you would have this town. It's got a lot of very but pushed them together on top of even older architecture here. Also, there's this was originally a town of seers. There's a lot of the very old stone architecture that kind of makes up the foundation of the place. For many years is still here. Some of the larger buildings, especially the more wealthy buildings, are that kind of architecture that has been kind of retrofitted. But a lot of the newer buildings are a little bit more cheaply made, a little bit more practical, scattered about here and there, and the whole place has been, updated over time as new facilities have had to be created for different things. You can see off in the distance a familiar looking tower, a tower that you saw up in, oh boy, I'm forgetting the name of it, Thaliost. One of those towers that can control the weather when someone who's trained to use it and bears a mark of the storm is able to sort of control the weather from these Oh boy, I'm struggling to remember the name of them now.
Is it a Storm Spire?
Storm Spire, thank you. That's the one. I was thinking
Yeah.
Storm Tower, but no. Storm Spire, exactly. That's the one. So the climate here is controlled by magic, which is very nice. As well. And Carrick eventually leads you all to the temples of this place. There are 2 temples here, side by side. There is a temple to ROI and a temple to Balinor here. And they're both honestly pretty similar because they both have a very natural theme. And the temple to ROI is made of these just massive, thick trees that rise up above it and create like a canopy in the air above, and then the temple itself is sort of suspended between all of the trees. This very large, very intricate tree house that sort of almost reaches the ground, but not quite reaches the ground, and almost reaches the canopy above. It's a huge structure, and sort of all the walls are made of like woven structures, not like nailed down boards and such. It almost looks like a giant, beautiful like basket, like a reed basket. That would be the temple to ROI. And then the temple to Balinor as well is on the ground, and it looks like a it's on the ground. It does have lots of trees and stuff around it as well. These locations are almost like as much a park as they are temples. But Balinor's temple there is a much more concrete structure on the ground that's a little more brutal in nature. It looks like a boy. It almost looks like a Viking hall, almost, if that evokes the right imagery for you.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
like a much more concrete shape. It's made of course, wood and such, but it's got those like large arching structures, like one main large chamber with some smaller chambers around it on the outside. And over the door is a massive set of antlers. You're not sure what kind of creature bore those antlers before, but they're definitely antlers. Far larger than anything you've ever seen before. But yeah, those are the 2 temples here.
Faye would like to, just call Anka over and say, hey, you want to go visit the temple to ROI?
Of course. I was hoping we were headed that way.
All right. So we will head over in that direction. I'm not sure what other people are doing.
That's up to you guys.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't have a preference apart from that. Let's go visit it.
Nakarath and Kirk?
Yeah, let's go. I'm definitely down.
I'm interested to see the religion that you herald.
All right. So, as you guys head over there, you look around, and it's obviously beautiful, but you kind of struggle at first to see how do you get to this floating structure. And you look around if there's anything you're supposed to climb or whatever. As you look around and you get a little closer, just kind of walking up to it slowly, there are a number of fallen leaves on the ground ahead of you. Sort of, you're already walking across them, but they're not crunchy, dry leaves. They're somehow still fresh green leaves that are just scattered across the floor. Seems strange. And that's what you've been walking on the past, a few yards at least. And then they start to just swirl gently around you, like being carried by little bursts of wind that weren't there before. And you kind of all stop and look around, and after just a moment, the winds start to lift you up as well as the leaves and carry you up into the structure above. And just gently set you inside before the breeze calms down again. Feels very similar to traveling up the storm spire that you did previously. Much less industrial than that, though. And inside, you can see, there's it's like I said, like a woven basket type structure all around you. So there's just beams of sunlight crisscrossing all over the place. For whatever sunlight makes its way down through the trees is then filtered by the basket-like shapes, and it's kind of all dancing as the trees gently rock in the breeze and alter what sunlight and where it goes. And the sunlight peeks through in little bursts and phases. And you see, it's actually pretty simple in here. It seems like most of the structure is designed to create that natural beauty of the sunlight in the trees. And there's, in the middle of it, a small altar with the symbol of ROI on it. But otherwise, it's completely plain. There appears to be a bunch of different offerings and things that have been left here on the altar. Oh, and the symbol of ROI, I should say as well, is like a bundle of grain, kind of tied together with
nice.
a like a ribbon.
Well, this is a lovely little place. I don't think I've ever seen this sort of temple before.
There
It's
are
beautiful.
also other people here, I should mention. I forgot to mention that. Just a bunch of different people sort of scattered around this place. It's large enough that it can hold a lot of people, and just in different places. They're all sort of either meditating or praying or having little quiet conversations in different corners of the place.
A temple for common people. Interesting.
Temple of ROI, yes, Anka says.
Forgive me, I don't know much of ROI. Wait, is she one of the 12?
She is one of the sovereign hosts, yes.
Ah, I suppose I might know something about them, but probably not too much.
You probably would have heard of ROI at least, but you are pretty new to this continent and stuff. So beyond like knowing her symbol, I don't know, but
And I am trained in religion, so I might know some.
okay, that's fair. Yeah, you probably would know then. Yeah, so either way, I'll just let you all know because I'm sure at least party members who would know can fill in those who wouldn't. But ROI is the sovereign of abundance, harvest, and storms. So the wilderness, fertility as well, plants, weather, crops, etc. Like the whole deal.
Equivalent of Thor. Cool. Got it. Except less bloodthirsty, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
Faye is going to just walk around a bit, but then just go up to the offering. The altar is where the offerings are being kept, right?
Yep.
She is going to place 10 platinum down on the counter.
All right.
And she is going to pray.
I should describe it as well. Sorry to interrupt, but it's sort of
No,
like half of a log cut very clean and then polished down, and sort of just that is resting on some of the structure of the building. Sort of comes up to meet it and hold it in place there.
So I'm going to offer a prayer.
Anka will
ROI.
kneel with you as well.
This is going to be internal.
Sure.
I do not actually specifically do not want Anka to hear this. ROI. I hope you forgive me for my, could call it a charade. I know I took your name and have no connection to you. I hope you understand or see that I was lost and that I tried to do good. I needed somewhere to do good. And It's funny. All these years I've never been in a temple. Never one of these. Just learned about you in school. Back when I was under the veil. It's so beautiful. I feel guilty. I feel like I've polluted this somehow, but I only tried to help them, and this one next to me, I will keep her safe till the day I die. So I guess I hope you can forgive me, and though I may follow the traveler, were I to ever need your blessing, I would gladly take it. But that aside, I leave this offering for you, hopefully to alleviate any of the betrayal that I've caused with my past actions, and pay all of my love be on your followers, because that was never a lie. And then she stands up.
You don't get a chance to stand up. Not yet. Give me a second here. So you finish this prayer and you sort of look up and the sunlight is filtering all through this temple. You prepare yourself to stand up. It's one of those beams of sunlight. Just looks a little weird to you. It almost looks like maybe some dust blew by it or something and caused it to flicker a little bit, but you see some sort of shape just flickering through the sunbeams one by one. You notice it. And again, it looks like just dust moving around, but you kind of rise up a little bit and try to get a better picture, and you finally stand up and look around you. There's just this great figure slowly moving. You can only see them where the sunlight touches. You can still there's enough of those beams of sunlight all around that you can still kind of make out their form here. And it's a half-elven woman with extremely long hair that goes down to her ankles and then trails along the ground and almost wraps around her feet where she stands. She's wearing long, flowing robes that are doing the same. None of the rest of you see this. So you do see Faye just kind of stand there in shock, I would expect. She reaches out. Yeah. She reaches out a hand, sort of cups your chin and cheek. Says, "There's no need to apologize, my child. In fact, I've seen what you've done, and it is good. You've defended the weak, and a great protector, a great healer. And for that, you have my blessing. So go, leave this guilt behind at the altar as well, and take with you the knowledge that you are blessed by ROI." And then she sort of fades into the dust in the room again. And you, Faye, may now pick druid spells as well as cleric spells when you choose spells, and you may retroactively change any of those if you wish.
Holy shit!
Oh shit, son.
Holy shit.
Out of character, that's my reaction. In character, she just kind of stays staring in the same direction, and just like because of her powerful, a tear runs down her other cheek on the other side of everybody, so nobody sees it, and but just smiles and just bows her head back down for a moment, and this time actually stands up and just smiles and puts her hand down to help Anka up as well.
And Anka didn't see any of this either, but she seems very satisfied that she got the opportunity to come here and say a prayer as well. And she sets down on the altar a necklace. that you recognize as something that she's had since she was a child, and it's a small symbol of Harwai that's sort of carved out of a bit of wood and hung on a bit of twine, and she lays that down on the altar and lets the twine kind of curl up around it. Looks satisfied with this, so she stands up to join you as well.
That was good of you. I know you've always had that.
Yes. Well, I'm glad that I was able to see such a beautiful temple. We should have one of these built back home. Much nicer than the ones we have there, but well, people say prayers all the same, so I'm sure it doesn't matter much, but everyone should be able to see this beauty at least once.
I absolutely agree. Well, let us go. I'm just looking at everyone else. You all good here? Any offerings you want to make, or do you want to go on our way?
I'm good to
no,
go.
I couldn't, but it was very nice to see. But thank you for showing this to us.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. It's beautiful. Thanks, Carrick.
No problem. I'm just glad to. I don't come here very often, so it was cool to see.
Carrick and Nakareth, you two have tied passive perception, as far as I'm aware. I think you both have 20s, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you're both proficient, which I think would make you both.
I'm not proficient, but I have a feat. Yes, 20. Yes,
20.
yes.
Okay, there you go. That works. Yeah, the feet makes it up. That's right. So you would both notice something in the room here, especially as Faye and Anka return to you, and your attention's less on them and the surroundings. You start to look over the people around you and stuff, just taking in the surroundings. You spot something familiar in the crowd, and at first you wonder, that's weird. It's like a weird feeling of deja vu. Like, why is that familiar to me? That seems so strange. Why do I keep looking at this people and feeling like that guy over there looks familiar? And as you think about it, before you leave, you realize that it's the cloak that's familiar. You've seen that cloak a few times. That's the cloak you always see the traveler wearing.
Oh, I will point that out to Faye. Say, oh look, our other patron.
Oh, this is. Well, that's weird.
Can't believe you got caught cheating.
Caught me slipping. Where? Oh, fuck me. Where'd you see him?
Should have used your burner spell slots. Not sure exactly what that would have done, but
you see someone who has their cloak up over their head, just kneeled amongst another group in this place.
I'll ping him. I'll reach out and connect to him. Enjoy the show.
You reach out to connect, and you just feel like a brick wall. Like your mental voice tries to reach out, and you just, I mean, you're trying to talk to a god. You just hit and like something you can't quite grab a hold of. It's like normally you can reach out your mental force to grab hold of another person's mind, and it's like
it has to be voluntary most of the time anyway, so it's more like a gentle knock, I feel like.
That's fair. Well, they're definitely aware of you, and yes, I describe it as like you'd reach out and you'd be able to grab, like, it's almost like reaching out and grabbing a ball, right? When you just grab someone's mind, and that's how you get your connection. But in this case, you're reaching out to grab the mind of a god, and instead it just feels like a flat wall because the mind is just so immense that you're reaching out and just hitting this, like, a tiny surface of it. It's like putting your hand on the ground of the ball that is the planet Earth and just feeling the flat surface of it.
Oh dear.
So you can't quite like exert your influence enough to send words to it.
All right. Well, I guess he doesn't want to talk. He just wants to watch, like a pervert.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm in a mood tonight, guys.
No, I'm just. I need to believe that was said in character so I can just look at Gareth in a church in front of our other gods. You just saying shit, huh, buddy?
I mean, I would have said that mentally. I'm not saying that shit out loud. I have the
I
wisdom
mean,
to
I don't
say
know
for
that this
that.
would be better in this situation.
The card's hung over. Who knows? I
So
I just don't know how
say
to
it
keep
then?
myself now. I'll ping Faye.
All right.
So I already made a joke about getting caught cheating.
Yeah, you ping Faye with that thought, and you actually see the figure like give a little like shoulder chuckle when you say it to Faye.
Ha!
well, he's got a sense of humor. I'm gonna go kneel near him.
All right. And
Like, in a way.
you kneel next to them, and it's actually not a him. You see a apparently very young woman sitting there with just kind of blonde hair tucked into the hood of the cloak that she's wearing, and little her eyes are sort of hazel colored. She looks over at you. Says, you've been doing well.
Doing my best. Fancy seeing you here. Hope you didn't see my little moment
Well,
just a second ago.
like to catch up with family every once in a while.
Kind of awkward. Oh yeah, I guess this is a real.
Oh, no awkward, no awkwardness at all. It's I mean, I'm here as well for the same reason you are. Communicating with family, or well, a patron to you, I suppose.
How's your, given that I'm involved, how's your two's relationship?
Oh, yeah, it's here and there. It's complicated, but well, it's a long story. Her and the rest of the family aren't as fond of me, but I'm still quite fond of them.
It's big of you.
Oh, it's not their fault.
No, it's nice to be here. Sometimes things are complicated.
Yeah, beautiful place here, isn't it? You can check out Bellinor's while you're here as well. That's quite a place as well.
Maybe. Now, we not to spoil the lovely vibe here, but we've got the artifact
Indeed.
completed. You know this.
Yes, all three pieces together.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we pulled that off, but
Oh, I knew you
we
would.
got
Gives you a wink.
it. Blush. But yeah, now that the traveler is like a presumably very attractive woman, roughly Faye's age, she's like
Yes.
feeling a little more awkward about this. Anyway,
Not like
so,
a guy who looks like he needs a shave and has like
Yeah.
long dirty hair. Yeah, exactly.
I know I'm also a changeling, but damn you. Get you next time. But yeah, so what what do we do next? Didn't honestly think we were going to survive this. I didn't have that planned out ahead.
Yes. Well, there's still more to learn about that magic. You've got the pieces to the puzzle. Now, putting them together is another story. Might take some time, take some effort. But I would recommend, for now, you've got some time. Just rest. You'll be needed soon. And it'll be good if you are in tip-top shape. Maybe if it'll help ease your mind to take this time to prepare for what lies ahead might not be easy.
Okay. Do you know anything about our other group?
Yes, that's why you'll be needed soon, actually.
Oh dear.
If things play out how I expect. But don't worry. When they need you, I'll make sure it all works out. Or, at least, it works out that you'll be able to answer their call. Whether they call consciously or not.
Well, that's a relief. That was my biggest concern, is just how in the hells do we reconnect after all this time? And I mean, Lord, the message we got back from them was very concerning, to be honest. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm
That
scared for
hasn't-
them.
That hasn't been on the stream, so let me just read that again.
Oh
as
shit,
well.
that's right.
Yes, since you guys sent a message to the other party, they at the end of last session they responded, "Lost shard in hell. I have cool hell armor. Eli's friend stole our soul bike. Killing Rakshasa now. Fuck is weather? Fucking around, finding out." That is the message response you guys got.
And we're just chilling, getting drunk and going to church in that order.
Yes, well, they're having a hell of a time. For sure.
Yeah, they are.
That sounds awesome. Can we go?
Oh, that's the plan.
We just got. I'm like raising my voice even a bit for being in literal church. I'm just looking at comments like, we just got back from the plane of fucking madness.
She puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of like a finger to the lips, like, shh, no, shh. Like
Breathing exercises.
I mean, yes, but
Looks
we
a
had
bit-
breakfast.
like sarcastic as she's giving the shush. Like,
We've been on a boat for 20 days with nothing happening.
let's take this conversation outside. Why don't we? Yeah.
I mean, the vacation we're having now is just from, the boredom of sitting on a boat.
I like to think Clemens is saying all this as you guys just lead her
Yeah.
out of the building. You're like,
Pulling her by the arm.
Yes,
perfect,
absolutely.
excellent. All right, so you guys float back down to the ground, and then your voices are able to pick up a little bit without it being too awkward.
It's been weeks since we've had a good fight. If we were on a water ship, we'd be, going around to all the little islands. We'd be having adventures every week. It's I don't know. You really want to spend more time, recovering. If we need it, then certainly we can take it. But
If a good fight
gonna
is what you seek, and that will help you get prepared mentally, physically, and so on, the perfect city to find a fight. I mean, these people train constantly and are always seeking duels and such to keep their skills sharp.
oh yes, and that sounds very, very fine and dandy. But I mean, they're stealing hell bikes and fighting whatever Rakshasa is. That sounds incredible.
Let's take what we can get.
But I'll be patient. They are very capable people. With the little bit of time that I spent, in their company, they, if they're as capable as the rest of you, the rest of us, perhaps I should say, I have perfect faith in their ability to take care of themselves.
Clemens, if you are getting itching for a battle, my mom did say that there are tournaments. We could enter one.
But that would be very fun. I did very much enjoy the last one that we did.
I don't see why we can't.
Who knows? You might even win.
Haha, yeah.
Wouldn't underestimate
yeah,
the
who
warriors of this place, but who knows? They train their magic as much as they do with the blade, and Well,
Oh,
they do so for their whole lives here, and
well, that is very impressive.
many of them start to swing blades around before they even, well, learn the runes of the elven tongue.
So perhaps the most fair fight would be to find a few kids and fight them all at once.
Never change.
Let's not
You know,
Skywalker this,
that would be
please.
very interesting to watch.
Those are just the underground fighting rings.
Oh no!
What's your fighter number? I'm this many.
Oh boy. They've got all sorts of stuff to see here too. I mean, this is a place that is, oh, it's changed cultures many times. Let's say that. There's many layers here. So, oh, if you venture out of the city, who knows what you'd find out there as well. If you really want to fight, I'm sure if you just throw yourself into the jungle of scimitars.
Yes, I
something
was
will be
going to
waiting
ask
for you.
about that. That sounds fantastic. I heard a lot of things are named after swords around here. I heard there was a Bay of
Yes.
Swords also.
Yeah,
That just
this
sounds
is true.
really fantastic.
Well, it's been many years, but around here, the goblins and their swords were quite impressive.
Goblins. I don't know that I've tangled with goblins terribly often. If ever. My memory's failing me. I can't remember if they exist nowadays or not.
Well, back when the land was new and the overlords still ruled, the goblins were some of the first to rise up and form their own actual societies and cultures in this land.
What enterprising gentlemen.
Indeed, and they were quite good at making weapons, as you would have to be if you, were going to fight fiends that goblin size. Well, that's the whole goblin family, really, I suppose.
I wonder if the people here are trained to fight as multiple children in the same way as multiple goblins fighting.
Now, that would be an interesting cultural line, if you could trace that back far enough. I doubt it, though. I think, well, they do focus on teamwork a lot here. It's, again, they weave in a lot of magic. There's different lines of thought here, and people tend to stick to either the older druidic ways, or they'll try out the newer, shinier arcane magics that Seer brought into the land. Both create fine warriors.
Yes, fascinating traditions.
But anyways, I'm talking your ears off. It was excellent seeing you all, but yes, I do recommend you take some time and just prepare yourselves, whether that means honing your equipment, honing your bodies and minds, preparing yourself emotionally, mentally. I don't know. What do you people do?
I mean, we could write a list. I don't know if it would be a very long one.
Well, anyways, I have other duties to attend to, and I'll be seeing you all later.
It was a pleasure.
Gives a wink and turns away, and as she turns away and the cloak covers her whole body again, she actually shrinks about a foot, and you can tell she probably changed into another form, but then she disappears into a crowd.
Stupid sexy traveler.
All right, I think that's where we'll leave it for this week, for this session. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. A little more of a chill session, more roleplay focused. Got some good stuff in there.
That was great. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for running those.
Yeah, that was a great session.
Thank you. I enjoyed running it.